Do you remember that sinking feeling you felt when at the end of your consultation with your Microloc specialist, you heard that your balance or your final total would be upwards of $1,000, maybe even $2,000, maybe even $3,000 or $3,500 if you got Microloc extensions? Whew, as a consumer, I feel for you. Although this video that we're about to get into, I feel a little bit of a hypocrite, right? Because I am definitely a 21-year Microloc and natural hair expert. And now in this season of my career, I'm doing a lot of educating. I'm doing a lot of mentoring the next wave of Microloc specialists, certified Microloc specialists. I feel a little bit of a hypocrite because I'm always encouraging my students to charge their value, charge according to what the market is offering right now, or the market is allowing right now. So I feel like a little bit of a hypocrite because on the one side, I am telling my students, make sure you charge, because honestly, this is work. This is work. This is an intense service and it's a premium service. But at the same time, I feel for my consumers out there. I feel for my laypersons who may not know what to do to save money, or they desperately need or want Microlocs because of their lifestyle, but they just don't have the coins. They don't have the coins to invest in their hair transition. This video is for you if you've been wanting to get Microlocs, or if you have Microlocs right now and you just want to save some extra money. This is how not to spend thousands of dollars on your install or even your hair maintenance. Okay, stay tuned for this video. I think you're going to love this. I have 7 reasons why, or 7 reasons how you can save thousands of dollars on your Microloc journey. Stay tuned. So remember, there are 7 options of how to save thousands of dollars on your Microloc journey. I hope you stay to the end of this video because the 7th option is going to surprise you. So let's get right into it. So option number 1, the very first way you can save thousands of dollars, especially on your install. This is no big surprise to a lot of people who have already taken this method, or a lot of people that are Africans living in the diaspora in the US or the UK or any other part of the world. The number 1 option is to travel to either a rural area in the US or travel to the continent, travel to Africa to get your install done. Now, if you know anything about the continent of Africa, a lot of the stylists here and a lot of the braiders here do not charge a lot of money for braids or for the Microloc technique, which has become very, very popular throughout the continent, especially in the past 5 years with the explosion of small locks, especially since COVID. So if you have the coins or the ability, or if you are accustomed to traveling back and forth to the continent for whatever reason, or if you just want to take a trip to explore, especially these countries, Ghana, Liberia, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Senegal, Kenya, Uganda. Those specific countries have Microloc specialists available. Oh, and also South Africa, Cape Town or Johannesburg. Microloc has spread across the continent, mostly from the south to the west to the east. So if you are interested in visiting any of those countries in those areas for any reason whatsoever, if you have a trip coming up for a vacation, or if you have a business trip coming up, or if you just want to explore the continent, make sure, if you've always wanted to get Microlocs done, now would be the time to get it done while you are visiting the continent. Because a lot of the services here for braiding and for Microlocs are very, 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 very inexpensive compared to the Western counterparts. So for instance, if I was to charge, and I live on a continent, so I know the 2 worlds where, if I was to charge someone in the US for Microloc install, I could easily say, based off of your lathe texture and density and the method of Microlocs that you're going to go with, I'm going to charge you $1,800. But here on the continent, Not a lot of people will pay that, and not a lot of people will subscribe to that. So I'm accustomed to charging $1,800 in the US. Here on a continent, I would easily charge probably a fraction of that cost, maybe a quarter. So I would easily charge maybe $400, $500, anywhere between $400 to $800 would be the price that I would charge as an expert. And only saying this because even as an expert, and this is why I don't take clients while I'm here. I take clients when I'm in the US. I take clients when I'm traveling anywhere else. But because I know that I cannot earn the same amount here, it's very, very exhausting. Knowing that I can make maybe 3, 4 times that amount in the US or any other part of the world versus on a continent. The reality is a lot of people will look at you sideways if you tell them $1,800 anything here on a continent because of the cost of living and the earning potential, and just the overall GDP of the country where you are. People are not making their salary from month to month is not even $1,000 in a lot of places. So it just doesn't add up to say or to charge anyone that amount because they just won't pay. If anything, they'll haggle you. They'll ask you for the last price. My people on the continent know what I mean about last price. On the continent, you can go into the pharmacy. You can go into a drugstore. You can go to a pharmacy and haggle on medicine. That's how how intense it is with people not paying a markup price. Like I don't care what their price tag says. What's the last price? This is what we do here. So imagine for Microlocs, no one's going to pay that high ticket price of whatever. So if you travel into the continent for whatever reason, business, personal, vacation, whatever, you can ask for last price. You can haggle. You can work and bargain on the price. And I guarantee you, it's not going to be anywhere near what you pay in the U.S. because people here are accustomed to charging, pennies on a dollar for, braiding, for anything. And as I said, there's a lot more people here now on the continent that do Microlocs. They're exposed to the world of Microlocs. And these girls here, they know what they're doing. And I personally trained at least 3 salon teams since I've been on the continent. I've trained probably up to about 25 persons since I've been here for the past 5 years plus. So you can expect to find some really good technicians here. You can expect to find some good technicians all over the west coast of Africa, South Africa, as well as East Africa, Kenya, Uganda, where you come on the west side, Senegal, Liberia, Sierra Leone, Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa. You can go to Cape Town, Johannesburg. So it just takes a little bit of legwork, getting to know the areas that you may be going to. And depending on the region that you're going to travel to, you may get a lower amount. So for instance, here in Liberia, we can charge up to about $800 for a Microloc install. But there are parts of Nigeria and Ghana that has charged less than that, and even South Africa that's charged maybe half of that. Even here in Liberia, somebody may, charge as little as $100 for a Microloc install. So I think I have fleshed that out ad nauseum, and you get the point. So let's move on to option 2. So in option two is very, very easy to do. You just have to keep your eyes open and pay attention to what's going on online. Or reach out to some people that do Microloc classes and figure out which one of their past students are looking for a model. So option 2 is looking for an opportunity to be a model for a recently trained Microloc specialist. You can offer to be a social media ambassador for them, or offer to be just a model for them to help them grow their catalog, take some pictures of your hair, take some pictures of your process, be their guinea pig. Now, if you know, like I know, the amount of students that I have educated and the amount of students that are currently, past students that are currently working full time and doing a wonderful job, A lot of my past students are very skilled, very skilled, very equipped, coming out of my class, of course. And then besides just my students, some other people who train very well, some other programs out there that train very well, some of these students are coming out of class on the ready. They know how to part a straight grid. They know how to do a beautiful sizing, impeccable work, and not too long outside of class. So if you tap into and find someone who is freshly out of class, they know their stuff, they know their grid game, maybe even offer to see their mannequin to see what type of work they did in class, I think you're going to be well on your way to saving some good money. Because as a newbie for them, and as possibly their guinea pig or a social media ambassador for them, you can save upwards of $500. Okay, there are some people fresh out of class who are eager to grab a client, to learn, and to maybe practice their speed or technique, who may already be pretty proficient, depending on a trainer. They may already be pretty proficient with their hands-on technique as well as theory. So they're going to be able to guide you through your Microloc journey. But option 2 is to find someone that you can be their guinea pig and save hundreds of dollars, literally hundreds of dollars. So for an expert, if I was to charge you $1,800, $2,500, a newbie, someone who is fresh out of class, may charge you a quarter of that. So they may charge you $500, $600. And that right there is a game changer. That right there saves you tons of money just on the install. So you gotta be smart. You gotta do some legwork with this one. But that's pretty much it for option 2. Let's move on to option 3. Option 3 is very common. As a matter of fact, option 3, the people that are using option 3 right now are dominating the social media space. And this is what I saw, and I decided to join this YouTube game and to start to create more content, just to add a voice, an expert voice to the space, and to also to correct certain things that I've been seeing in the space that is coming directly from DIYers. So option 3 is you can learn to be a DIYer, and in your learning process, you can also decide to start to take clients on your own and earn some extra coins, which is something a lot of DIYers, or a few, I would say a few, not a lot, just a few that I've seen. Some of them are actually taking classes to now start to get some extra coin from their new skill set. So I would encourage you to join Team DIY. Okay. Now, when you're on Team DIY, it's not for the weak. DIYers are some of the strongest people in this Team Microloc game right now, because it takes some real work. To do your own retie, it takes concentration, precision, it takes dedication, it takes commitment. It just takes discipline. You also have to keep in mind that when you are DIYing, one of the benefits may be getting some strong guns. Y'all see this? If you're in your 40s or 30s or 50s, if you start to DIY, you are going to get some strong biceps, no bye-byes. That's some of the benefits of being a DIYer. I tend to do my own hair sometimes. So, well, a lot of times I just do my own retie a lot of times, and I have some really firm biceps. That's one of, you can consider it a pro or con, but guess what? You're not going to have no weak looking arms around here. You are going to have some strong looking arms. But that's one of the things you can look forward to if you become a DIYer, is that you're going to have some strong biceps. You may have some shoulder ache, neck ache, all of the aches, upper body aches, chest, pecs ache. It's going to hurt. But guess what? You're going to save thousands of dollars on your journey. And a lot of DIYers can attest that it is all the way worth it. So you may want to take a stab at it. DIY, but if you're going to DIY, make sure you get some proper training so you know how to cultivate well. You can be your own Microloc specialist and cultivate well, and that may just work for you. So depending on where you're located, depending on your area, this may be the best or only option, and you just have to ride with it. Option 4. Now keep in mind there are 7 options, so stay tuned for the last option, which I think you are going to be surprised and you may even like. But option 4 is to barter, barter, barter. Okay. If you have any kind of specialty, or if you are someone that is highly acclaimed, let's say you're an accountant, or you are, and I'm just telling you the types of people that a Microloc specialist may be looking specifically for to grow their business. If you have these skill sets and you have a Microloc specialist that you've been eyeing or stalking and you love their work, easily, hands down, if you are any of these professionals, you may more than likely be able to barter your services with a Microloc specialist, a trained one and a good one. I know I would. If I had any of these specialists or any of these people that are highly acclaimed or experts in their space or just a really sought after professional, and you have some Microlocs, girl, we are absolutely bartering. So if you are an accountant, my accountant right now, she recently got some Microlocs done and she's in the US. If I was in the US, I would have to wrestle her to the ground for her current, for the position to be her Microloc specialist, because she is really great. She does excellent work. She just amazing, just a stickler for the accounting world. She has never messed up on my taxes. Praise ye the Lord, because I don't mess with Uncle Sam and them, okay? But she does an amazing job. And if I had someone like that to barter with, to do her reties or to cultivate her locks, I would absolutely barter with her. So if you are an accountant, go find, and I'm talking about if you're a real accountant, not just regular, just W-2 accountant. Okay. If you just W-2 accountant, just regular, you just know basics, don't bother. But I'm talking about CPA. I'm talking about, your stuff. This is your life. This is not a side hustle. You are highly acclaimed. If you have Microlocs, seek out someone who is highly trained and highly proficient in Microlocs. And they're more than likely going to barter with you, because accountants, they charge. Y'all be charging for these taxes and the bookkeeping and stuff. So make sure you find someone that you can barter with. This also works. The barter also works, you guys, with if you have a family member, an immediate family member, let's say your mom or your daughter, someone in your household that wants Microlocs and you want to barter their install. I am almost 100% certain that you could find someone that is highly acclaimed, highly trained in Microlocs, that you can barter with them for your specialty services. Another type of professional that you can barter with a Microloc specialist, if you are this professional, is if you are a dermatologist. Microloc specialists are always, especially the ones that work full-time, they have their own clientele. This is their full-time job. This is not a side gig. If we had an in-network dermatologist that we could collaborate with or, pair up with, it makes our jobs easier, because anytime you have someone that you're working with as a client that may have scalp issues or maybe hair loss issues, if you have an in-network dermatologist, it just makes our lives so much easier, where we can just refer out. So if you are a dermatologist, this may be a good setup for you to barter with a certified Microloc specialist. So if you're any kind of doctor, or if you're in anywhere in the medical field, or a dermatologist, even an OBGYN, a naturopath, I would definitely barter with my naturopath doctor if she had Microlocs. But unfortunately, she's a white girl, and she don't have no Microlocs. She ain't got no Microlocs. But if she had some Microlocs, I would absolutely barter with her those services, because she charges a certain amount, I charge a certain amount. So it would be a perfect match. Another person, and you guys can think about this from any angle, right? Just think about what type of specialty you have, what kind of value you may bring to anyone. And you can barter that. You can absolutely barter that. The last person that I think would be such a perfect fit for someone who wants to do Microlocs and they want to barter their service, this person would be a social media manager or a website designer. Now, all of the Microloc specialist girls out here right now are looking to create more content. They're looking to promote themselves on social media and just, come on here and show their skill set and things like that. So if you are a social media manager or a website designer, listen, why are you spending $1,800, $3,500 on your Microlocs when you could be bartering your services? This is services. These are services that are needed by the Microloc industry. There are so many persons in the industry that do not have a website, a proper website. There's so many people out here who do not like posting on social media, and really good Microloc specialists. And I know a good amount of them in my network who are excellent at their work. They do a great job, but they just don't want to spend additional time on social media. And truth be told, when I was behind the chair as a full-time stylist, that was my vice also. Creating content and taking pictures. And this was much harder back in the early 2000s, where, we didn't have the Instagram, we didn't have the Facebook, right? All we had was MySpace. We had MySpace. I'm showing y'all my age. We had MySpace, we had Friendster, we had Black Planet. Okay, those were our only options to possibly expose our work and our skill set. But for the main part, we had to take pictures with really expensive and highly acclaimed photographers to place our work in magazines. And regular stylists, I knew my natural hair game and I knew my Microloc game back in the days, but I wasn't taking $1,500, $500, $800 upward to pay a photographer to be in a magazine. I was young. I wasn't trying to do all that. I was trying to pay my rents. Okay. But nowadays, when you can just pick up your phone, put your camera on, shoot some content, even that, a lot of stylists still wrestle with creating content. So if you are a social media manager or website designer, or if you have your own courses, you need to get the vetting of these Microloc specialists, certified Microloc specialists to be specific, the ones that are trained, who know what they're doing, because the value has to match with this barter. Okay, don't just get any old person and then now you just show them all of the tricks and the loops and the loopholes for creating their site, or you're going to create the site for them, you're going to handle their social media, and then you have mediocre work done. So you need to get the getting. Go and vet the right person, and I guarantee you she is going to love this exchange. So we're almost towards the end of these options, you guys. I hope you are staying tuned, and I hope these are helpful for you. If any of these options have resonated with you so far, go ahead and comment in the under this video of if you have taken advantage of any of these options or you plan to take advantage of any of these options. I would love to hear your feedback. But the next option involves you or someone you trust, or maybe a program that you trust. It involves training a family member. Okay, so if you have you and your daughter, or maybe a cousin or your mom live in the same household, or you live close enough to each other where you can do each other's hair, why are y'all not doing each other's hair? That's the real question. So someone should invest. Someone needs to invest in a training, or maybe a YouTube video where you can watch step by step how to do the install, or you can do an actual program and really learn how to do the install or the maintenance. Someone needs to invest in that, get that information, train your mama, train your sister, train your daughter, and start to do each other's hair. This one option, a lot of people take advantage of that, especially multi-generational households, especially the ones who have Microlocs. For instance, in my household, I have Microlocs. My niece who lives with me has Microlocs. My son has Microlocs. My husband has Microlocs. So guess who's doing all of these heads between me and my niece? Okay, she's doing my hair, I'm doing her hair, or she's doing my husband's hair and I'm doing my son's hair. At least there's two of us who know what we're doing. So this works really well. I can attest to it. I've been doing it for almost 2 decades. Okay, so try this method out, try this option out. This may work, be the best option for you. So option 6, this one is very, very doable, but you have to be paying attention to see who is out here hosting classes or who's teaching classes and teaching properly. This next option is to find the right program, in-person program that's teaching Microlocs or doing a workshop on Microlocs, and volunteer to be the model for the class. A lot of classes and workshops that do this and allow live models, they either do the models here for totally free, or they charge the model pennies on a dollar. When I say pennies on a dollar, if you're sitting for a 16-hour workshop, which will go on for a few days, or an 8-hour workshop, which is all day, and you have the students that are working in your hair and helping the educator get through the process and learning on your head, guaranteed your hair is going to still come out nice, but you're going to suffer a little bit with, sitting for long periods of time and, not being able to talk on your phone. So you won't have a lot of freedom, but you'll be able to get really, really good Microlocs done. Because and I've done this before, you guys, all of these examples and these options I've given you, I have personal stories attached to them. But if you are sitting for those periods of time, more than likely the educator is going to give you your Microlocs at a free cost or charge you pennies on a dollar. So if your Microlocs should have cost you maybe $1,600, $2,000, the educator may say, hey, don't worry about it. You're helping out with my class. I'm going to use this content for YouTube or for my website. So it's no charge to you. Or they may only charge you, if your regular price was about $2,000 upwards, they may only charge you about $300, $400 because you're doing them a great service. So if you find someone like that and they are not trying to give you a good break, which a lot of educators do, but if you find someone like that and they're not willing to give you a good break, now it's time to kick in your negotiation skills and say, hey, I'm going to possibly be bringing more clients or more students or more clients for your students one way or another. So we have to work out something and try to be nice about this, right? Because they don't owe you nothing. They can just teach the class on a mannequin, So this would be a really big opportunity for you to save thousands of dollars, to save hundreds of dollars. So make sure that you are super nice to them. Make sure you are very easy to work with, just very easy to work with, because teaching a class, alone is a lot of stress, a lot of pressure. You're dealing with the students, and they shouldn't, educators shouldn't have to deal with a difficult model or a difficult client. So just make sure you're being super nice. Very last option, this one, a lot of Microloc specialists are providing this option for their clients, especially if you are nice, especially if your hair is easy to work with. So if your hair is easy to work with, if you have low to medium density or even medium density, not too difficult to work with, pretty pliable. This option, a lot of Microloc specialists don't mind giving this option to their clients, because that way they have a regular client, they have regular income, and then everybody's happy. This last option, option 7, is if you find the right certified Microloc specialist to work with who is willing to agree on offering you pay later options. So basically, it's almost like crediting. And this is if you're starting from the install stage. If this is like using Afterpay or one of these pay later options where you pay you pay the company, and the company pays the specialist the full amount. And then you're just taking your time and paying off your debt with the company. And the only company that comes to my mind right now is Afterpay. But I believe there are several other Afterpay options or pay later options that you can look into, that if your specialist uses, you can use that as an option to pay off your Microloc services. And, in a way, it's not really saving money, but it's not as stressful to come up with the whole lump sum amount on the day of your appointment. You can work out pay later options through using Afterpay or asking the Microloc specialist to send you regular invoices. invoices, or even ask the Microloc specialist if she does membership options. So when I was behind the chair full time, I had membership options where my clients, natural hair clients and lock clients and Microloc clients, would pay me a flat rate base amount every month. And every month they can expect to pay that specific amount if they were good clients, if they were staying on top of their retie schedule, if they were behaving themselves, the nice ones. This option was available to the nice ones, okay? And y'all know who y'all are, nice ones, okay? It was available to them to pay a flat rate fee, which put them on a budget, and they were able to, in a way, save money because they knew exactly what to expect month to month, and just have a very clear idea of what they can expect to pay on their Microlocs. Okay, so ask them if they have pay later options for the install, and also if they can pay a set amount if they have a membership. And some stylists have membership options, but they're not telling anyone, because only a limited amount of people that they like as a client make it to that list. And I'm telling y'all my secrets from behind the chair. Not all of my clients had membership options or were privy to being a member when I was behind the chair, because low key, some of them were difficult to deal with. You know, some of them were difficult to deal with. They wouldn't follow instructions with their hair, follow the rules. And that would add more stress to my experience with them and add more time to their appointment time, which, you know, when you're starting to work that way where excuse me, every time someone comes back to the salon, they have issues with their Microlocs. There's slippage, there's holes, is damage. You know, they went swimming at the beach over the weekend. They didn't put a swimming cap on. When you have a client who does the most like that and don't follow the rules, don't follow instructions, I am going to guarantee that you pay me the premium, because you a stubborn child. You're gonna pay me the premium, period. But if you are a good client and you don't do the most, you follow all of the rules, if your Microloc specialist does not give this option, you should initiate that for her. You should suggest that for her, because maybe she don't know no better. Maybe she's just trying to keep up with other Microloc specialists. You know, she don't know no better about, you know, doing a membership. Listen, when we are behind a chair, the only thing we're thinking about is serving you as a client, paying our bills on time, making sure that whatever I charge you, it can feed my family, pay my bills, maybe put a little bit away for a vacation, because I'm going to need it in like 2-3 months, maybe after the end of the month, depending on how busy my month was. And I'm, you know, getting a massage. Those are the things we're thinking about. We're also thinking about how to make your experience better. But keep in mind, a lot of stylists, a lot of a lot of Microloc specialists, trained Microloc specialists, are mostly hair designers. We are not true business people. We're not true business people. We're not sitting there thinking about how to perfect the business necessarily. Only a very few are in that brain set, right? In that mindset. Only a very few stylists are in that mindset of thinking business-wise of how do I perfect this system? A lot of us are not thinking about that. We're just thinking about just doing your hair and what looks nice for you and getting paid after your appointment. Okay. Even myself, when I was behind the chair, I wasn't necessarily business-minded. I was a creative, a straight up creative. I wasn't thinking about anything else but the clients. Experience. Okay. It's only later as I evolved as a business person. Now I'm learning the ropes of business. Now I'm trying to grow a business and I'm evolving into full entrepreneurship. But whatever you can suggest as an intelligent person coming from your own industry, whatever is working in your industry, if you can suggest this to your Microloc specialist, guaranteed you're going to benefit from that suggestion one way or another, and save lots of money on your journey. So I hope this video has helped you all a tremendous amount. I hope you are able to get some value from it. Go and share this with someone that you think it'll be of value to. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, follow this channel for more information on Microlocs. Make sure you put your notifications on, because I do post regularly. Okay. In the meantime, let's be about the business of Microlocs.